everyone, it's Julianne here, and welcome back to the Possum Stamps YouTube channel. Since it's Halloween, I wanted to end October right with a spooky fun Halloween-inspired card. And for my card today, I am going to be using the Munster Party stamp as well as the coordinating die set. So let's get started. Now I'm going to be starting off my card today by first creating my background. And for that, I'm going to be doing some ink blending using my Distress inks. The colors that I'm going to be using today include Salvage Patina, Peacock Feathers, and Black Soot. I am going to be using some of my blender brushes for my ink blending, and I'm going to start out using my lightest color of Salvage Patina, and I'm going to be ink blending that color over my entire panel. Once I have my entire panel covered, I'm then going to be coming in with Peacock Feathers, and I'm going to be adding that color around the edges of my panel, bringing it in towards the center, but still making sure to leave that center highlight. Now to give my background that spooky feel for Halloween, I want to make sure that I darken those edges even more, and for that I'm going to be coming in with Black Soot, and I'm going to be adding that color around the outside of my panel. Now in order to make sure that I also get that seamless blend, I'll then come back in with Peacock Feathers. Now once I was completely done with my panel, I did want to mention that I set that off to the side and I let it completely dry before I came back and did the stamping using a background spiderweb stamp. Now since I do want to heat emboss this, I am going to be adding some anti-static powder all over my background panel, and then I'm going to be stamping my image using some VersaFine Onyx black ink. Now to make sure that I get a nice solid black outline, I did go ahead and stamp that twice, and then I'm going to be coming in and adding some clear embossing powder over my entire background panel, and then I'll be heat setting that using my heat tool. Now for my card today, I am going to be stamping out 4 of the Munsters that are included in the Munster Party stamp set, and I'm going to be stamping each one of those using some VersaFine Onyx black ink. Now since this ink isn't Copic friendly, I am going to again come in with some clear embossing powder, and I'm going to add that over all of my images once I get done stamping them, and I'm going to be heat setting them as well using my heat tool. Now this is going to give not only my background, but also my images that really nice raised glossy outline that I just personally love. But if you didn't want to have to emboss your images, you could definitely just stamp them with a Copic friendly ink. Once I had finished coloring in each one of my Munsters, I am going to be coming in and using the coordinating die set, and I'll just adhere those down using some washi tape, and then I'll run those both through my die cutting machine. Now I really wanted to add a second layer to my background, and I had this idea to have a lime green striped background behind my ink blended panel. I thought that the colors would look really cool together. Now I looked up and down in my craft room for a pattern paper, but I didn't have any, so I decided to create my own. Now using one of my sentiment strip dies, I ran that die through my die cutting machine with some lime green cardstock, and I got these really nice stripes. Now you can also cut out these paper stripes with your paper trimmer, but for some reason I can just never seem to cut straight, so the dies worked better for me. Now in order to create this pattern of stripes, I'm going to be adhering the die cuts directly down to my background using some liquid adhesive. Now my die cut strips weren't long enough to fit across my entire panel, but that's okay because once I add my ink blended background on top of these, no one will ever see that I'm actually using two strips together. So once I have all of them adhered and my background is completely covered with the lime green stripes, I'm then just going to flip that over and I'll just trim off any excess using my scissors, and then I can start working on adhering everything together. I'm going to start out by adhering my ink blended background directly over those die cut stripes. And to give my card that little bit of added dimension, I have gone ahead and added a foam sheet behind that panel. And I'm just going to be adding some liquid adhesive and then adhering it down. Now, I get these foam sheets in a big pack from my local craft store. I find it cheaper than using up all of my foam adhesive for large background panels like this. Once I have my background adhered, I'm then going to start deciding on the placement of where I want all of my monsters to be. And once I have a good idea of where I want them to go, I'm then going to be adding some foam adhesive squares to the back of them. I'm going to start out by adhering the orange monster in the center of my background, and I'm going to be adhering him directly to my panel using some liquid adhesive. And then I'm going to be adhering the two other monsters on each side, and those both have foam adhesive behind them. And then finally, I'll adhere the bat monster up in the top left-hand corner of my card. I scattered a few sequins throughout my card, and I did use the Hocus Pocus sequin mix for this. And I'm going to be adhering each one of those sequins down to my card using some liquid adhesive. Now you could definitely leave your card here and be done, but I just felt as though it needed something, so naturally, I pulled out my gigantic box of googly eyes, and I picked from all of the different sizes, and I matched those up with each one of the monster's eyes. I am going to be adhering each one of these googly eyes down using some additional liquid adhesive, and once I have each one of those adhered, that's going to complete my spooky Halloween card. I just love how this card came out, and I love any reason to add some googly eyes. Now, I hope that you enjoyed my video, and if you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up, as well as subscribe to the Possum Stamps YouTube channel for even more inspiration. I will list all of the items I used today down below in the description box if you're interested. And as always, I hope you have a wonderful day, and happy Halloween!